Here we go.
This is Nia Peeples, and you're watching The Break It Down Show.
Fantastic. Nia Peeples has been a singer, a dancer, a TV show host, an actor, an action star, and an author. And she is now what I will attempt to describe as a spiritual example for those of us who are willing to look.
Wait, what was the eye roll? You were like, and she is now.
Oh boy, called out on the eye roll. Where did it roll?
Right
Oh no,
before
I'll tell you
she is
what it was.
now.
No, I'll tell you what it was in just a second. But first, I want to say, 10 years ago, you made a break from public life to seek something more meaningful, and
Yeah.
that journey has resulted in a new book called Dirty Dancing with the Devine: 5 Hidden Rhythms of the Body and Soul as One.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about that.
Okay.
But first, I want to say, by way of disclosure for my eye roll, you and I have met.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, many years ago, I had co-written a screenplay with two of my
Oh,
cousins.
wait a second. Okay,
Yeah,
okay, okay. And what was the name of it?
it was called Vicious Circle.
Okay.
And we
And
never
where
got
did
around to making that movie, but we really wanted to make it with you
shocking.
in it. Yeah.
There's
And
so many. There's more of those than movies that actually got
there's
made.
a lot more. Yeah, a lot more of those. But you were kind enough to help us along by at least saying, yeah, you know what, if you guys get the money to do this, I'd like to do this movie with you.
Yeah.
And so we came out to the valley where you were living at the time,
Yeah.
and we had lunch.
Was it, did you come out to the valley like in Old Agura?
Yeah,
Okay, gotcha.
yeah. And so that was great. So I've had a wonderful experience in meeting Nia Peoples, and of course, I've been a fan of you since, um, you
Shh.
know,
5 years ago when I started.
yeah. Right, right. When you started and I started listening to music.
Right.
But the reason we have you on today is because I'm doing a series within the Break It Show called Getting the Gig that
Oh,
aligns with my new book called Getting the Gig.
awesome.
And so I've been talking to mostly musicians, but other performers of all sorts about gigs that they've gotten. And when I discovered this journey that you're on, I realized that it is probably a much deeper, but somewhat parallel journey to the one that I went on, because I started writing a book about getting gigs that became a book about really maximizing the authenticity,
Who you are. That's right.
authenticity of who you are.
That's right.
Yeah. So I am very intrigued. But it's been a 10-year process, this
Yeah.
book, huh?
Yeah. Well, I didn't set out to write a book. Here it is,
Hmm.
by the way.
Wow.
Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah, it's
It's
gorgeous.
magical. Um, I didn't set out to write a book. I left everything behind because my youngest child went off to college
Mm,
and I knew there was more. I mean, I had been doing the same thing for 35 years. And there were aspects of it that I absolutely loved. But what happens is we never stop growing. So to think that we are going to keep growing but maintain the kind of life that we had at one point that worked really well is incongruent. Doesn't work. You
yeah.
have to pay attention to how you have evolved and be willing to say, well, who am I now and what makes me happy? Because they're really intimately connected. So I didn't
Mm.
set out to write the book. I set out to find out who I was and what I wanted.
So especially at that time, uh, when you become an empty nester, I mean, that's one of those kind of milestones in life where you kind of have to reflect.
Yeah. Well, you don't know. You don't have to.
Well,
People, I know a lot of
you're right.
people
Most
who
people don't.
don't. um, but I had always known that there was just something. I'm really good at doing a lot of things. I can make things happen. I know how to succeed at something. I know how to put my significant will and energy focused on something and achieve that thing. But I always knew there was something more, like more, there was more of me that wanted to be known by me, not known by the public, but by me. And so when she went off to school, it freed me up and I couldn't do certain things any better. So one of the things that I wanted, it was a lifetime partner. And I've been married and divorced 4 times and gave all of those relationships my very, very best. So what do you do when you know that you have sincerely been doing your best, but it's not working?
Mm.
Now you got to pay attention to who you are and what's happening inside and where those desires came from. And so it was like a big, like, I can't do this better. Like, I can't do it better. I would have to stay in the marriage. I would have to be smaller than I am. And I can't do that. And I don't mean like every other day or certain parts of the day. I mean,
Be
yeah,
completely be smaller than you are.
yeah, yeah.
And that wasn't something that you experienced with a particular husband, because there had been 4 of them.
It was all of them.
And you get, yeah.
So that means it's me. I was the only common denominator.
Okay.
So there was something inside me in my belief patterns of what relationships were or how I participate in them, what I was after. You know, where did the desire to have a long-term relationship even come from? I mean, I was like, are you gay? Like, I was just like, what's going on here?
You had to ask everything.
All of it. Yeah, you have to be
Yeah.
willing to let go of what you think you know to really land on what is. And
Okay.
so that's what that was. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's very introspective of you to, to explore and to realize, because that's something that I usually put on myself when I recognize that, hey, there's a pattern here. The pattern is me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And, also by way of disclosure, I'm acquainted with 2 of your ex-husbands. One of
Oh,
them has been on this show within the last couple months.
Sam? Was it
Howard.
Sam? Howard. Oh,
Yeah.
Howard. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Who's
And
the other husband?
Lauro, who was the
Lauro. He's a good
connection
guy.
that got us to you to explore that
Okay.
movie.
He's a good man.
Well, and I will say that they both only say nice things about you. So, you're right. Sometimes relationships don't work because we're all in different places, and we
Yeah.
all, there are sacrifices that one must make. And when we don't understand within ourselves, these sacrifices, then yeah, we jump into stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's talk about the book. In writing the book, was there a process that brought you to, I mean, was it a compilation of notes, or did you start at the beginning and have a message, or how'd it go?
Well, how do I say this? So, really, what the book is about is what we actually are, because we're more than meat suits. We're more than what we've been shown is human. We are human and divine, fully, both. And they're meant to work together. And that's not something we're taught. We're taught away from that. But the majority and the most powerful part of what we are is actually divine aspect. So it was not separate from that journey. And the writing of the book and the timing of it, the whole thing, it lines up like synchronicities and knowings, and you just have to step on it. When you start when you start growing that relationship with the divine aspect of who you are, you start having different learning skills. Like, you start sharpening a different kind of listening, feeling, and then you can respond appropriately because the information you're getting isn't just through your eyes and your ears. So the writing of it took 10 years because the evolution of me took that long to get to where I even knew what the book was about. I didn't know until I started writing it.
One of the beautiful things that you said was that the book was about knowings within you that came from and I'm probably getting this all wrong. Knowings within you that came from learnings outside of you,
Yeah, knowings that awakened within me
awakened
because of
within you.
experiences and learnings outside of me. Because
Aha.
the truth is already in there. It's not, we think, okay, we learn things, then we know them. No, everything you need to know is in you. You know everything. Your body knows it. It's not a brain thing. It's a being thing. Your beingness already knows. And divine intelligence puts things in front of you to help you remember the things that are important to you in this lifetime. So all the knowledge that's out there doesn't mean it's knowledge that's meant for you in this lifetime. Some of it's completely irrelevant
Okay.
in this lifetime. So there is this relationship between you and the divine, which is the higher, bigger aspect of you. There is this relationship where it is saying to you, okay, you're here to figure out these puzzle pieces, and I'm going to put this in front of you, or I'm going to point this out, or because it's going to awaken this thing that's tapping from inside.
Okay. So this is really a lot like a more developed exploration of the notion that children have everything, and we as parents really do the best favor of everyone and society and all of everything to try not to screw them up.
That's right.
Because
and it's hard because they go to school. Like,
yeah.
they're born, we tell them what their names are. They don't get to pick.
Wow.
We put them in schools. The school tells them, the bell
Teaches
rings,
them
you
to
stand
obey.
up.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. We're taught to feed the system. We're not taught to come into attunement with our own unique divine design. Wait. I have something else here I want to show you. Wait.
Amazing.
Hang on.
Okay.
That's the children's book.
Yeah.
That, it's so beautiful. And it's about what we're talking about, which is that every person is born into this world with this unique divine design. It's unique unto them. It will never exist again. They're the only ones who can express it in that way. The goal is to come into attunement with it. And so what that book is about is like it's kind of like there's no right or wrong. There's just your attunement to your divine design and your distance from it. And so this was the first book that this one I wrote in like 3 hours. It was just one of those things I woke up and went, whoa. And it happened in 3 hours, and in 3 months, the whole thing was done. And it wound up in, excuse me, in a pilot school in a lower income area in New Mexico. And it has changed the lives of so many children just by saying, you know what, you matter. Pay attention to what's coming up inside you. Pay attention to the unique things that are truly you, whether other people acknowledge it or not.
Yeah.
Because you matter and you're important. We need you to be that thing. Not all this list like doctor, lawyer, whatever. We don't know. There's something way more important than that list. And so, yes, the greatest favor we can do for our kids is teach them to pay attention to their own internal guidance system, and get them to where they come back to that over and over and over again, because that's where the real revelations happen.
So is it the success that you achieved in this one school system with this book that really sort of empowered you to think that society is ready for this notion that?
No.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't.
Does that even matter?
It doesn't matter. To me, the thing is, it doesn't matter whether I think society is ready for, no. Who am I? I mean, what do I know about society? I have my experiences, but what do I really know about what's happening in the world? I only know it through the news.
Yeah, what we're fed.
Yeah, the only thing I see in the news is what they want me to see. I don't really know what's going on. Yeah. I trust this connection and the pull inside me that says, you need to do this. It doesn't mean that the book is going to become number one. I knew I needed to write the book. That's it. And that means I'm doing the greatest favor to the collective consciousness, that we're all sitting in this web of energy called collective consciousness. So when I move, everybody else in it moves.
Yes.
Right. And so the more I move in attunement with who I am, the more the whole web moves harmonically. So that's all I'm here for, is to pay attention to what I'm here to bring forth, to express my divine self, my self of love. What happens to it is none of my business. So
fantastic. That's a lesson for us all. I think, if I can rewind a little bit, I don't know how much you're talking about this, but since we've all known you for a career that has spanned a lot of different things, yeah. It seems like it has never mattered Did you
Mhm.
navigate any of that stuff? Like when you were, I mean, you start off, you're a recording artist, you get a TV show, you get, throughout all of these things, I think you could have done any one of them quite well, and you never really stopped to
No.
mm, what were you thinking? Or were you thinking? Or did it matter?
What
Or
were you
was it
thinking?
yeah.
The biggest thing to me was not success in my career. That did not
Okay.
drive me.
Hmm.
Now, it's easier for me to see looking back
Okay.
than going through it, because I did have those moments where you have, executives or very powerful people going, "Why aren't you bigger than what you are? Why aren't you? If I had you, we could have a hit TV show built around
Oh,
blah." I mean, I've had that happen over and over and over and over and over again. So
uh-huh.
there's the young me going, "Yeah, I don't know why." And it's a little frustrating, but I didn't feel like there was anything. The only thing I had control of was how I showed up.
Uh-huh.
So I just did the very best I could at everything, trusting that life was bringing me on a path that I couldn't see. And this is the glory of the way that we live. We're actually more adventurers and pioneers. And following that thing is how we add our light to the sum of all that is. Like, the greatest thing that we can do for all of humanity is be the most of what we actually are.
Hmm.
So rather than leading with, how do I get the next series? How do I design my career? I kind of paid attention to what showed up and then met it to the best of my ability. And that was teaching me how to dance with divine intelligence that's moving through all of it.
Wow. That was such a heavy and heady bunch of information that you get. And I'm going to just admit right now that I was caught up in the fact that, the first time that we met, I was exactly that asshole, pardon me, because I was thinking, you know what? Nia should be a much bigger action star. And this is a vehicle for her to be a great big action star. And we should. So when we sat down and we had lunch, I think when you left, my filmmaking partner is my cousin also. So we're very close. And you left and we looked at each other and we were like, do you think she wants to do this movie?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure that action star is, she was, you were sweet. We had a great time. We had, just a nice lunch and we were filled with jokes and had, a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then we were like, I don't know. This is, like didn't have any less faith you'd do a great job at it. But
Yeah.
as you were just telling our, audience and me about how we should be really working on cultivating and trying to understand this connection that we already have.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, man, I was exactly that kind of an ass who was just thinking
Well,
about the superficial of, the next thing should be this big. And
I don't think I wouldn't call you an asshole because of that. That's the way we're taught. We're taught to say, I want that. That means I do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. And
mhm,
I've had other people respond the same way. So I'll give you an example. I mean, I was testing for a series because all the hit TV series I've been on, there were like 3 times that number that never made it beyond like 3 episodes or 10 episodes or something. But I remember testing, I think it was at NBC. And so when you go in for a screen test, what they do, just to set this up for your audience, is they wire it, like they whittle it down to like 3 people for each role.
mm,
So let's say they have 5 main roles. There's 3 versions of all 5 of those characters in this room. All the executives are sitting there. You come in and you screen test for it, right? And you've already negotiated your deal. They make you negotiate your deal before because then they have you in the position of weakness,
yeah.
right? And the way that I would audition is I would come into a busy room and I would kind of fall asleep in the lobby. I would
Okay.
sit back and just almost fall asleep. And the producer came up to me and she goes, "I'm worried about you." And I said, "Why?" She said, because it doesn't seem that you want this. And I went, why? Because I'm not nervous or not grabbing? And I went in there and I got the role, because every role that I ever tested for, except one, I got. But it's my knowing how to lock into who I am so that I step in and give the most honest delivery of who I am.
Not the most desperate delivery.
No, and not trying to give them what they want.
Yeah.
I'm there giving you the best of what I have. And there have been, and this is great that you're writing that book about what's it called? How to Get the Gig?
Getting the Gig. Yeah.
Yeah. Getting the gig. It is about you bringing who you are to the table. And being in a position internally where you step in very freely about that, and being the mixed race version of life that I am. Nobody wrote roles like this when I started.
Yeah.
They weren't. They wanted someone who was Italian or Chinese, or, you're not any of those, but you're all of them. Like, you're German, you're what? And so I didn't care. What am I going to do? Change that? No, you walk in and you do it. And what happens is, when you bring the most of who you are to the table, it makes them go, oh, I never thought about that. Let's do that. Because most of the time they think they know what they want. Most of the time they don't. Rare is the role where it has been so well written out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, how many times do we hear about some person who came in and blew everybody away and was like, "Why, we didn't know that's what we were looking for."
That's right.
So I think what you're describing is something that happens to all of us when we try to categorize for things.
Yeah.
And instead of doing that, if I'm scratching at your message, instead of doing that, we should be trying to just connect to what is true and universal.
Yes. Now you have to do your work, meaning dig into the character, find out who that character is in the context. If you can get the script, get the whole script, and find out how, because this is another thing. People who write scripts aren't necessarily really, there's so much more power to specifically write things. Like they're not great always at putting themselves in the shoes of every single character to maximize what's available in terms of pushing the storyline forward.
Okay.
Now, as an actor, I'm used to doing that. And I'm used to looking at it as to how it impacts the whole script and how it impacts the scene.
Yeah. And everybody else.
That's right. And how you build that all the way through it. So you have to do your homework. You go in and you go, okay. Oh, they missed this moment. There's a moment there. Oh, they missed this. Oh, there's that. Oh, let me bring that to the table. And then you have to find how that truth exists within you. And I'll give you an example. So when I did Pretty Little Liars, I played a very uptight helicopter mom whose daughter was a straight A student, the swim star, fabulous person, and turns out she's gay. And of course, my character's like, oh, Mio Dios, like, no, it's just that crazy girl from California that's like showing you all these bad, wrong things. And I'm thinking, how am I going to play the truth of that when I don't feel that way?
That's personally not your truth. Yeah.
But here is the truth that we shared. She loves her daughter. Now, in her brain, Pam, her name was Pam, she was trying to save her daughter from something she thought was just not true and not right. Now, that I can understand. I don't feel that way mentally about it, but I love my daughter.
You can connect to it. Yeah.
And so the truth of the matter is, I would do it for my daughter. She thought she was trying to save her daughter. I don't have a problem finding that truth. So you do your homework, you find those truths, and then it has to be your truth.
Yeah.
So someone who's never had children might have to, I don't know, maybe they have a pet that they really care about, or a mom that they really care about, or, something that they can equate to that depth of love and importance. And so you do your homework, and then you walk in and you deliver your truth.
Yeah. I think as somebody who met you as a screenwriter,
Mhm.
I can say that it's very possible that that character was just written to be antagonistic in that situation, and that that level of thought didn't even enter the, so when you say that as an actor, the performer's job in performing this pile of words is to find that a lot of there's a lot there, and there's a lot there
Yeah.
in the one of the things about getting the gig that I've heard over and over and over again that I explore in the book is the fact that, I'm a drummer and I'm pretty good, but there's 100 guys I can name off the top of my head who are better than I am, and somehow less busy.
Yeah.
So, that's really where the exploration came from. And it came from the fact that there's a mission there for everybody who's there. And if I don't enter that gig in service of that mission, or don't fully try to understand that mission before I try to
Yeah.
serve it, it's not going to be there.
Yeah, and you can't ride with it. Like
Right.
there's a wave of energy happening, whether it's in music or in a script, or that you've got to ride.
Yeah.
Now, you can,
And
if
in
you look
some
at,
cases, try and command.
that's right.
Yeah.
You're
They're
co-creating
sort
with it.
of, they're counting on you to co-create. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. This
Bring it.
might be this might be the most profound of this series that we've seen yet. I mean,
Awesome.
yeah, I've just mostly asked people like, so yeah, then you got signed to the label and you found yourself at Day on the Green. How'd that happen? And it was such a less substantive conversation than how we have to figure out how to dig deep and really serve,
Yeah.
what
Well,
the
when
thing
that
is.
and that's where your power really lies. Like anyone that gets up and says that they took certain steps that absolutely created it themselves is full of shit. Or they don't they really don't recognize, and they're going to crash
Yeah.
because they don't
Yeah.
recognize that they're in a dance with the divine.
Yeah. It's
That
great that
ha-
they've been getting lucky so far, but if they don't recognize
yeah,
it, at
and you're
some point
only
it's going to fall
seeing
apart.
what looks lucky. You're not seeing the back end of that.
Yeah.
You don't know
Wow.
what they gave up. You don't know how they're suffering on the other side. You don't know that.
Hmm.
I was
Well,
sitting
let's
one time at a sorry, I'll just say this real quick. We
please.
were doing upfronts for a TV series. I can't even remember which one it was, but there was an ensemble cast, and I think we were in New York. This is when they used to do upfronts, when we had like 4 networks. So and we were sitting there on the stage, and upfronts are where all of the magazines, the news outlets, they come and they interview everybody about what's going to be in the next season on NBC or CBS or whatever. And they were asking each one of us, why this role, this time in your life and in your career? And every one of one of the actors was going, well, I felt like it was really time for me to do something a little different. And they got to me and I went, I really wasn't doing anything else.
Okay. Authenticity. You weren't doing anything else.
That's all I got, you
Yeah.
know?
Well, you mentioned that, we don't see the back end. Let's talk
Yeah.
about the back end of that. In your process of writing this book, in this, journey that you've been on for the last 9 or 10
Yeah.
years that you chronicled, what were some of the darker moments of
Oh
that
gosh.
journey?
Well, the book, first of all, the book is not a chronicle of it. There are
Okay.
aspects of my journey through it.
Ah.
And I had a lot of dark nights of the soul. That's
Mm,
something that happens because how do I put this? You come to this place where you realize that everything in reality is so much more than what you realized.
mm,
So when you experience the truth of what is, you look back at your life and go, well, what the hell was that? And the whole structure just starts unraveling, and then you just on the ground sobbing, what is this? Now I'll give you an example. I had 3 days of walking a mountain. Would you call it a mountain? Big hill? I don't know. In Nashville. And I had begun awakening to this voice, this inner voice, this other divine aspect of who I was. And I had some extraordinary experiences with animals, speaking to them with my mind.
Okay.
And there were other people there. So they witnessed some of the stuff that was going on. The trees, the wind, all those things you hear about Native American people, listening to the water, getting information. Water does, scientists now know that water contains more information in a tiny drop of water than in it's extraordinary what we've been able to discover. Trees hold information. If you know how to decipher it, you can see the energetic imprint in it and translate it. So I had these extraordinary experiences, and you're like, oh my God, this life is really all of this. Wow. And then you come home and you go, well, what are all the taxes sitting in my file box? Like, what is this life that I've been squeezed into that's a lie? It's kind of like the Matrix. It's the Matrix. So you're like, how do I navigate that, knowing that all of this is here? So what was your question? Did
I
just
don't know,
go
but
off on a tangent?
that's my problem is, I look around, I go, I feel like I have to get it together. But
what do you mean?
All the things that I feel like I have to get together are all the life things that go like, that doesn't really matter.
No, it doesn't.
How do I make myself care about that?
No. Yeah.
And if you're, I'm not asking to pry about the darker parts of that journey, but I really would like to prepare everybody, because if we inspire somebody to really take an honest look and take a journey of their own, you're going to run into stuff that you don't necessarily like, and you're going to have to figure out how to absorb it, because there's something there too.
Well, yeah. And it's, if you look at it like, when you go to the gym and you work out really hard, you get sore, but you get sore because your muscles are breaking down so they can build up to become stronger, faster, more agile, whatever it is you're working on. But you're in pain because the muscle's breaking down.
Yeah.
So it can become more. And so it's these structures that kept you safe at one time that you've outgrown them. You've outgrown the structures that used to serve you. That's one of the things I write about in my book. Like, laws or beliefs, if you outgrow them, they're uncomfortable.
Wow. I'm going to have to sit with that for a minute. Okay.
Well, okay. And let's look at it like this. Have you ever had a job that you used to love that you didn't love anymore?
Sure.
You outgrew it.
Yeah.
Did you ever have a relationship? A friendship?
Yeah.
That's another painful part of what it is, because a lot of people like their structure. They like knowing that Nia lives 3 doors down. She's my best friend. She will always be there to take care of my cat, whatever. And the minute Nia goes, oh my gosh, I think I need to travel. Now I'm shaking up my friend's world. And if she's not strong enough, she can't be happy for me that I'm expanding. She has to shut you out to keep her structure firm. And that's just a question of strength, really. As you become stronger, you expand. And then you bump up against those structures that can't hold you anymore. They can't support you anymore. You can't live without structure, but you're going to outgrow them. And so if you understand what it is, you start learning how to move through it. And you trust divine intelligence.
Yeah. I feel like you've outgrown a lot of people you care about.
I've lost a lot of friendships, meaning we're not meeting in the places that used to be fun anymore. That's all.
Yeah. I point that out because I have went through that recently, where somebody I really like and, you know, and whose family I love and everything just didn't align with what I was trying to do. And I want him to, you know, come back around, get out of his own way, all of those things. But we have to allow those people their processes
That's
too.
exactly right. You can't do anything for their journey, but
Yeah.
be the most of who you are.
Hmm.
That's the greatest gift you can give them, is to be the most of who you are. And sometimes being the most of who you are means giving the shirt off your back, and sometimes it means letting them find the shirt that they need to put on.
Wow.
It's different every time. And
Yeah.
you're the only one who knows you with you.
Okay. So, what's next in this journey for you now that you've written the book, now that you have a message for the world, and the message may or may not take for some people, and it seems like an important one for many others, but is there a for somebody who doesn't, you know, try to advance the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, and just constantly is exploring, what's next on the exploration?
For me, well,
Yeah.
depends on what shows up. But I can tell you what's showing up now is the launch of this book, which is not released yet.
Okay.
This is actually what you're looking at here is the mock-up. That's somebody else's book. Let's see.
Oh.
Ordinary Finds Saying, ooh, somebody wrote, oh, huh, okay. I was like, oh, they even signed it to somebody. Okay. Now, this is in my mom's. I mocked it up so I could feel what it felt like.
Yeah.
The book will be launched probably in the fall. And
Okay.
because what happens when you start opening up to that more of you, you begin, instead of thinking through things, which the brain is only something that can rearrange what it's already taken in. That's what the brain does. Your brain can take in information and rearrange it. Okay. But the more of who we are can perceive information from the field, through our own field. Okay. So you can you feel things moving closer or further away. You just start to feel what the energy is. So for me, what it feels like is, and what is showing itself is launching, I don't know if you'd call it a business, or it's a mission driven thing to get the message out that you matter, you know, about what we actually are. That's what this time is about. The world seems to be upside down, but we're just seeing the underbelly of what's always been. And the reason we're seeing the underbelly is because consciousness has actually taken a big enough turn and expanded enough to push it to show itself, so that other things get birthed through it that are more harmonic.
Okay.
So what that means is there are structures in place that, like, I'm going to control this. If I want to control things, I'm going to tell you, you have to work these hours. I need you to do this, and you're fired if you're not. You need to live in this place. You need to, all the rules, right?
Here are your aspirations. Yeah.
Yeah. What are your aspirations? You have to pay your taxes. You have to all the things that they say that you have got to do. Those are the structures of separation. I mean, for goodness sake, if you paid all your bills, if I bought 3 houses at $5 million each cash, and then turned around and tried to get a loan for a $30,000 car, I couldn't get it. Why? Because I haven't built up my credit.
Yeah.
That's the system.
You didn't play by the rules.
They're forcing you, you know, it's just, they force you into this thing. And so what I'm, you know, my whole thing is about, look, when we come into attunement with this thing that we are, there'll be loans, but they'll be in a way that's harmonic. I'm not saying that they won't be.
Yeah.
Just like the atomic bomb, the atomic energy is important for building, but it can also be really destructive. So it's the consciousness around it that matters. And so what this book is about is, this is I don't know if you're familiar with the statement that it is the Great Awakening. Are you familiar with that? the age of Aquarius.
Okay.
No? Okay. So you've never heard of the age of Aquarius?
Sure. Yeah. That's
Oh,
sunshine
what did you
age.
think that was? They're right.
Okay.
So because everything is connected, the planets, our Earth, our bodies, it's amazing how much, oops, wait, hang on. I think I have to plug my computer in. How connected all of it is. And so ancients have talked about this time for millennia because they could see the movement of the planets and they knew how it was going to line up to impact humanity. And then humanity has to make a choice. Are we going to choose harmony or separation? Are we going to keep trying to control each other, or are we going to learn that we're actually built to function working together in our own unique ways? So this has been for millennia. Like every ancient culture knew that this was the time of the Great Awakening.
And we're in it now.
And we're in it now.
And we have a job to do. I feel like this is a fire lighting here.
It is. I'm like, get down to being you.
For crying out loud. Yeah, get after it.
Yeah, whatever. And that's part of what the book is too. It tells you, look, how do I know how the divine aspect of me is wanting to express? How do I know what it's saying? And it tells you, look, by the way it feels. If you feel inspired, that's something. Pay attention. If it brings you joy, that's something. If it's fascinating to you, that's something. And then you learn the difference in the feeling place between distraction and fascination. You can be fascinated with a casino, like, oh my God, this is interesting, or you can be controlled by it.
Yeah, and that distractedness is really you're being played.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Well, you're wasting your time.
You're wasting time.
Yeah.
And we have a finite amount of it. So we need to get after it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then that begs the question, why are you waiting till fall to release the book? Hurry up.
It's just what it feels like.
Okay.
It's just what it feels like. And I'm setting up the organization so that it can more freely flow. I mean, the Little Apple Tree, this book, I mean, I'm telling you, it's so incredible. There's curriculum that's been written around it at this pilot school. It's mandatory reading at the 9th grade level in Bogota, Colombia.
Wow.
I know. And I have not paid any attention to it at all. It's just, it just has a truth that is already in it. And there's also, if you look at this, this is like, I'm going to blow your mind for a minute. If you look at that long enough, you're going to feel something. You're going to feel something. And then you'll start noticing color, shape, all of it begins symbols. They begin awakening something inside of you because you're more than a person who learns through his eyes and his ears.
Yeah, that image is ink on a page. And right now, you and I are, we're having this conversation virtually. So there's a lot of opportunity for noise in the telephone game that we're playing.
Yeah.
With my eyeballs focused on that image. But the center of that image, which is a bright light, was captivating in a way that I can't really describe, because you have me stare at that image, and I'm staring at the image and going, I could get lost in this thing, even though there's all this, generational loss of signal that should be happening, and it's still not.
Because the truth is there's no distance. Everything happens right here, right now. Everything. And that's why, I mean, I don't know if you've ever had a really close relationship, or you hear about those things where mothers will know when their child is in trouble and they're like on the other side of the world, or where you wake up and you think about someone and you pick up the phone and call them and you'll find out that they were thinking about you.
Yeah.
Because energy, there's no distance between it. It is what is now.
Yeah. That happens all the time. I feel like that happens all the time. There's no distance in the energy. There's no separation in truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
You just have to pay attention. You start to get to this place where you can sense it and discern what it is better and better the more. And I'm no expert at it. There are people that are just like, wait, what? There are people who can remote view. They can lock into a coordinate and see what's happening through their
Yeah.
third eye.
Yeah, I have done journeys with psychedelics
Awesome. Which
and
ones?
had great experiences. I did an ayahuasca journey
Yeah.
at a Brazilian Catholic church.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was an entire weekend, and it was we were deliberate about our nutrition leading up to it. It was everything was uh, meant to allow for the opening of all the doors.
Right.
And when I got there, um, I didn't have any idea what to expect. And all the barriers kind of came down instantaneously. And before we took any medicine, I had a moment with a soft boiled egg where just because of the surroundings and because of all this preparation, I received the nutrition that this egg was offering me. And it was a magical moment. And then what it really did was it allowed for, all of the things that happened. And the funny thing I completely forgot where I was going with this, but the thing that happened on that journey was I connected with my maternal grandparents
Wow.
when they were young and falling in love. And
Oh.
they were much older. I'd never witnessed that. I have 77 cousins, first cousins on that side of my family.
Wow.
So my
You
relationship
have a very
with those,
prolific family.
yeah, they were busy. My relationship with my grandparents was not, it was a very loving one, but not a very close one because I had to share them with everybody else,
Yeah, yeah.
But that just gave me a sort of open door to understand that people are where they are when they are. And sometimes we should leave room for something else that's there that maybe isn't visible right then in that moment.
Yeah.
Um, and again, I forgot where I was going with that, but I also had a psilocybin journey that was magnificent, maybe my favorite one. And that connected me with, you want to talk about connecting with truths. I did that with a guide who was magnificent, and we were on a houseboat. And the
Wow.
thing about a houseboat is if you look around your house, you see the walls. Houseboats don't have sheetrock. So
Right.
you can see where all the conduit is, where all the wiring is. It's all right there visible. And that boat, the entire time I was sitting there, anything I looked at explained to me how it worked.
Isn't that incredible?
It was magnificent.
There's an
And
intelligence in
every
everything.
single
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And it wants out. It
Yeah.
wants you to understand.
Yeah.
So yeah, those were things that I could not unsee.
Right.
And even if I didn't retain how a lamp, electricity worked in a lamp, what I walked away with was that it did, and it wanted me to know.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Like, it's not because you were meant to be an electrician. We always,
Right.
we stick it into that thing of, well, how do I participate in this system? Oh, I must need to be an electrician. No, you got it. You got exactly what you needed, which was, it is so. Like,
It is so. It
it
is
is
so, and it
so,
is
it is
available.
alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to ask you a superficial question because there are probably people who haven't seen you in a little while and
Yeah.
are seeing you now and thinking, what happened to your eye?
Oh, that's beautiful. Can you see it?
Yeah. Wow. So now I did the research, so I know what happened to
Okay.
your eye, but I want you to talk about what happened to your eye and why it relates and how it is magical.
Okay. So, doctors would say physiologically, the way it expressed was I had shingles of the trigeminal nerve in 2013, which the trigeminal nerve is like here and it spreads across your face.
Hmm.
Okay. So it created like little eyesight problems, but it wasn't doing that. And then 3 years ago, it started scarring. Like that was 2013. I'm like,
Wow.
why is it happening now? Now, what it forced me to do, it put me in a position where my depth perception is off. I have to move a lot more slowly.
Hmm.
And as you know, as an action star or whatever,
Yeah.
martial arts, surfing, you need the ability to see and move fast and powerfully. And that's how I moved through life, just like.
Sure.
So what it did was put me in a place to pay attention more to the subtle energies even more, and to move through life almost like using your peripheral vision.
Okay.
And that's, which is closer to the third eye vision, where people can
Ah.
actually see all the way behind them.
Mhm.
I mean, there are schools, we all have this thing called the pineal gland,
Mhm.
which is right smack dab in the middle of your head. And it's receives and sends information, and it's what we call the third eye, because it's right in the center of the head. But that's what happens on the psilocybin journeys and all of that. It opens up the pineal gland.
Mhm.
So the eye put me more in a state of receiving than constantly doing, which is
Yeah.
more feminine. And I'm seeing through the left eye, which is more feminine. Now, when you go back and you look at depictions of Mary Magdalene, or the Magdalens, if you will. So I don't know. So Mary Magdalene isn't who we thought she was. This is right now what's happening energetically is it's the rise of the divine feminine, which has been suppressed forever, because the feminine is how we receive all that information.
Aha.
It comes through the feminine. The masculine is like electric. So the feminine is like magnetic, the moon, which reflects the sun, which is electric, let's say. Okay. So it put me in this place to do that. And what I learned later is that depictions of the Magdalens, which Mary Magdalene was the representation of the divine feminine Christ. All right. And throughout history, there are stories of the, like the rose lineage of the Magdalens, the dragon lineage. These would be women who were able to hold the frequency of that knowing. And they're
Hmm.
often depicted with this eye. I don't know why.
Wow.
I don't know. And I'm sure if that is so, it came through the physical body the way mine did. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And seers you know, have said it's alive. There's information in it. There's all, the answer is, I don't know for sure. I can
Mhm.
only tell you my relationship to my eye and the gifts that it has brought and the challenges that it has brought. And I'm aware that my human self gets to choose whether or not I want to replace it with someone else's cornea or continue on. I get to give myself that permission. So that's what happened to my
Wow.
eye. But it's beautiful. If I could
Yeah.
see through it, that'd be awesome. But I sort of can, but
But
the
it
eyeball,
has forced you to slow down
yeah,
and be more peripheral and more introspective.
yeah,
Fantastic.
more feminine, meaning receive. I just have to pay attention to the more subtle energy in order to move instead of just right through everything. Yeah.
Yeah. As you were known to do in a different part of your life.
Yes. Yeah.
Our guest today has been Nia Peeples. It has been an honor and a pleasure and really a pleasure to see you again.
Yeah.
And
It's so good.
I just want to say as we conclude this thing that the book comes out in the fall and everybody should pay attention to that. And I don't know, let's see, it seems like you're going to release the physical book and the audio book simultaneously. So we'll be able
Yes.
to get it every way.
Yes.
And
But it's
okay.
only, here's the thing. The book is actually, I'm going to give it away at cost.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
In the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And then there'll be an audio with that you'll get as well, because I feel like I want people to, and it's not going to be downloadable. It's only hard copy.
It's a tactile experience.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I am an advocate, and if there's anything that I can do to, expand the mission, do whatever,
Thank you. I
count me
appreciate
in.
that. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. There's actually a link in my bio on Instagram to sign up for updates on when the book is released. Now, it's going to be given away at cost for I don't know how long. Who knows if I'll go to an actual publisher after that. We'll see.
Mhm. Wow. Well, this is a very interesting philosophy, and if you don't mind, I'm going to hit the stop button. Thank you for joining us, but hang
My
around for one
pleasure.
second.
Sure.